Welcome to the Crit Stories. In this episode, we explore a fascinating yet largely unknown chapter in American history, the hidden legacy of the Qarsherskiyans, a unique triracial community primarily located along the eastern United States. These individuals, whose ancestry includes Native American, African, and European roots, represent a blend of cultures, histories, and identities that defy the conventional racial boundaries that so often define American society. The Qarsherskiyans, also referred to by some as Sweetgum Kriyul, are scattered across a vast area from the shores of Ohio's Lake Erie, through the Chesapeake Bay in southeast Virginia, and into northeastern North Carolina. This geographic distribution places them at a crossroads of historical movements, including Native American displacement, African enslavement, and European colonization. Each of these influences played a vital role in shaping the identity and culture of the Qarsherskiyan people. What makes the Qarsherskiyans even more intriguing is the possibility of additional ancestral contributions. Some members of the community are believed to have Jewish, Romani, Asian, and Malagasy roots. These influences, though less documented, further enrich the community's genetic and cultural diversity. Despite the importance of their existence, the Qarsherskiyan story remains hidden from much of mainstream history. The community's identity was shaped by generations of cultural blending and a strong drive to survive in a society that often rejected them. Through this exploration, we will trace their origins, examine how their distinct culture has endured, and consider the challenges they faced and continue to face in the modern world. This first segment sets the stage for understanding the deep historical, cultural, and social influences that forged the Qarsherskiyan community. Let's now dive into the earliest origins of the Qarsherskiyans and how this unique group emerged over time. To understand the historical origins of the Qarsherskiyan people, we need to travel back to the early days of America's colonial era, where complex patterns of migration, displacement, and intermarriage set the foundation for their unique identity. During this period, the forced migration of African slaves and the displacement of Native American communities created a backdrop for cultural exchanges that would eventually lead to the formation of the Qarsherskiyan people. The early 1600s saw the beginning of European colonization in what is now the United States, with settlers primarily from England, Ireland, and other European countries establishing footholds along the East Coast. As they expanded westward, these settlers encountered Native American tribes whose cultures, languages, and lifestyles had existed on the continent for centuries. However, with the arrival of European settlers came conflict, disease, and displacement, leading to the forced relocation of many native tribes. Meanwhile, African slaves were brought to the Americas in staggering numbers, creating another layer of racial complexity. These slaves, who were often from different tribes and regions of Africa, found themselves in a foreign land where they were subjected to brutal labor practices. The mixing of Native Americans and African slaves became an inevitable outcome as both groups sought to survive in the same communities. In the southeastern United States, African slaves and Native American tribes found common ground, often forming alliances in the face of settler expansion. Over time, these alliances led to intermarriage, which played a pivotal role in the creation of mixed-race communities. The Qarsherskiyans, as we know them today, likely emerged from these mixed-race communities, where individuals of African, Native American, and European descent coexisted and intermarried. The name Qarsherskiyan is believed to have been used by members of the community to reflect their mixed heritage. Meanwhile, the term Sweetgum Kriyul connects them to their environment, the sweet gum tree, which holds significance in their local culture and survival. This period of intermingling and adaptation laid the groundwork for the unique, resilient communities that would evolve into the modern-day Qarsherskiyans. Now that we have a grasp of the historical context, let's explore the role of Native American ancestry in shaping the Qarsherskiyan identity. The Native American influence on the Qarsherskiyan community is one of the most crucial aspects of their identity. While the African and European roots are more often emphasized in studies of mixed-race communities, the Native American contribution is just as vital to understanding the formation of the Qarsherskiyan people. In the southeastern United States, the displacement of Native American tribes, such as the Cherokee, Chickasaw, and Powhatan during the 18th and 19th centuries, played a significant role in the shaping of local communities. As settlers expanded westward, the native populations were pushed further into isolated areas or forced into conflict with European settlers. However, many Native American communities survived by fleeing to less accessible areas or forging new alliances with other displaced populations, including African slaves. The blending of Native American and African cultures was not only a result of these forced displacements, but also a practical necessity. African slaves, once brought to the Americas, found themselves in similar positions of oppression as the Native Americans. Over time, intermarriage became a survival strategy. Native American tribes and African slaves, united by their shared experience of marginalization, formed relationships that would produce the next generation of mixed-race individuals. For the Qarsherskiyans, the contributions of Native American ancestry are particularly evident in their relationship with the land. Native American agricultural practices were passed down through generations, and these techniques played a crucial role in sustaining the Qarsherskiyan people. The knowledge of how to cultivate crops, hunt, and live off the land allowed the community to survive and thrive despite the challenges they faced. Furthermore, Native American spirituality and cultural traditions have had a lasting impact on the Qarsherskiyan community. Oral traditions, folklore, and religious practices help preserve their unique identity, providing them with a deep connection to their ancestors and the natural world around them. The Native American influence is woven into the very fabric of Qarsherskiyan culture, providing a foundation for their resilience and ability to endure. In the next segment, we'll explore how African heritage contributed to the formation of the Qarsherskiyan community. The African heritage of the Qarsherskiyan people is fundamental to their identity. The legacy of African culture, brought to the Americas through the transatlantic slave trade, has played a pivotal role in shaping the social, cultural, and historical experiences of the community. Despite the brutal history of slavery and oppression, African-descended individuals have managed to preserve elements of their heritage, contributing to the distinctive nature of the Qarsherskiyan people. The forced importation of African slaves into the American colonies beginning in the early 1600s created a foundation for the African influence on the Qarsherskiyan community. Slaves were brought from various parts of Africa, each with their own languages, customs, and religious beliefs. Though enslaved, these individuals managed to preserve some of their cultural traditions, passing them down through generations. The African influence on the Qarsherskiyan people can be seen in many aspects of their culture. Music, for example, has long been a central element of African heritage. The rhythmic patterns, songs, and dances brought by African slaves to the American colonies became integral to the cultural fabric of the Qarsherskiyan community. These musical traditions helped foster a sense of identity and solidarity among community members. In addition to music, the African connection to the land played a significant role in shaping the survival strategies of the Qarsherskiyans. African agricultural techniques, such as the cultivation of rice and other crops, were crucial in ensuring that the community could sustain itself. These methods were passed down through generations, helping the Qarsherskiyans thrive in their isolated environments. The African experience also contributed to the community's resilience. Despite enduring centuries of racism, discrimination, and marginalization, the Qarsherskiyans managed to maintain their unique cultural identity. They resisted assimilation into mainstream American society, preserving their distinct heritage in the face of overwhelming pressures to conform. In the next segment, we will examine the European influence on the Qarsherskiyan community and its role in shaping their social structure. While the African and Native American influences on the Qarsherskiyan community are often discussed, the European heritage of this group is equally significant in understanding their identity. Early European settlers, primarily from England, Ireland, and other European nations, made their way to the Americas, establishing colonies along the eastern seaboard. As they interacted with Native American populations and African slaves, they began to form mixed-race communities that would eventually include the Qarsherskiyans. The European influence on the Qarsherskiyan community can be traced through both cultural and social channels. European settlers brought with them new farming techniques, agricultural crops, and technologies that would help the community survive in an often hostile environment. These contributions were particularly important in the context of the Qarsherskiyan people's reliance on farming to sustain themselves in rural, isolated areas. However, the European influence on the social structure of the Qarsherskiyan community is just as important. While many European settlers were involved in the forced displacement of Native Americans and the enslavement of Africans, they also played a role in the intermingling of these communities. The establishment of European-dominated social hierarchies, which often included laws governing racial classification and rights, provided a context in which mixed-race communities like the Qarsherskiyans were formed. Despite these influences, the Qarsherskiyan people were often excluded from both black and white communities. As a result, they forged their own path, developing a distinctive social order that did not fit neatly into the racial categories of the time. This autonomy allowed them to create a strong sense of identity, even in the face of significant external pressure. In the next segment, we'll explore the lesser-known contributions of the Romani and Malagasi people to the Qarsherskiyan identity. Beyond the more commonly discussed Native American, African, and European ancestries, the Qarsherskiyan community also carries within it traces of other ethnicities, notably Romani and Malagasi influences. While these heritages are less widely recognized, they offer significant insight into the diverse makeup of the Qarsherskiyan people and their resilient cultural identity. The Romani people, often referred to as gypsies, are a nomadic ethnic group whose origins trace back to the Indian subcontinent. Over centuries, the Romani migrated through Europe, and many eventually made their way to the Americas. Romani migration to the United States was facilitated by a series of routes, including through European colonies in the Caribbean and during the transatlantic slave trade. Some members of the Romani community were also enslaved. While the Romani people did not form large, concentrated communities in the United States, their influence was nonetheless felt. They were known for their craftwork, music, and storytelling traditions, which were often passed down through generations. For the Qarsherskiyans, the Romani influence likely manifested in cultural practices such as music, dance, and oral traditions. The value placed on storytelling, a cornerstone of Romani culture, became an integral part of the Qarsherskiyan legacy. Stories of survival, migration, and resistance became woven into the very fabric of Qarsherskiyan history, carrying with them the Romani emphasis on preserving the family and communal ties. The Malagasy people, originally from the island of Madagascar, were brought to the Americas as part of the transatlantic slave trade. Though their numbers were fewer than those of the African slaves, the Malagasy people's genetic and cultural contributions to the Americas are still significant. It's believed that some Malagasy individuals were brought to the southeastern United States and eventually intermarried with African slaves and Native Americans. For the Qarsherskiyans, the Malagasy influence may have contributed to the unique character of the community's culture. The Malagasy people are known for their resilience and ability to adapt, traits that have likely been passed down through the generations. Malagasy traditions, such as those related to farming, cooking, and community structures, may have become integrated into broader cultural practices of the Qarsherskiyan people. These less recognized ancestral contributions illustrate the complexity and multi-layered nature of the Qarsherskiyan identity. By exploring these influences, we gain a deeper appreciation of how the community's diverse origins played a crucial role in its development. As we move forward, we will now take a closer look at the resistance and survival strategies employed by the Qarsherskiyan people over the centuries. The survival of the Qarsherskiyan community through centuries of hardship is a testament to their resilience and strength. From the time of their formation during the colonial period to the modern day, the Qarsherskiyans faced not only external pressures to assimilate, but also internal struggles to maintain their unique identity. This segment will explore the ways in which the Qarsherskiyan community preserved its culture and resisted efforts at forced assimilation. Throughout American history, the blending of races was often seen as a threat to the social order. The social structures imposed by European settlers sought to define rigid boundaries based on race, often relegating mixed-race individuals to the margins of society. In the case of the Qarsherskiyans, this marginalization created both challenges and opportunities for cultural survival. In the face of racial discrimination and social exclusion, the Qarsherskiyan people adopted strategies of resistance to protect their community's way of life. One such strategy was the preservation of their language traditions and religious practices. By maintaining these elements of their culture, the Qarsherskiyans were able to pass down their history and identity from generation to generation. Another crucial aspect of their resistance was the establishment of secret networks and societies. These groups were formed as safe havens where the Qarsherskiyans could gather, celebrate their traditions, and strategized ways to navigate the external pressures they faced. These networks were often instrumental in providing mutual support, ensuring that the community remained strong and united. In addition to these social and cultural strategies, the Qarsherskiyans also fought to resist the legal and political frameworks that sought to categorize them into predefined racial categories. Living in a society that demanded racial classification, the Qarsherskiyans were often caught in a bind. They were not accepted by black communities, who viewed them as too mixed, nor were they fully embraced by white communities. As a result, they developed their own systems of self-identification, allowing them to maintain their cultural integrity while navigating a world that demanded conformity. In the following segment, we'll examine the modern-day challenges and legacies that continue to shape the identity of the Qarsherskiyan people. The legacy of the Qarsherskiyan community is far from being confined to the past. It continues to have a profound impact on the present-day lives of its members. While their history may be obscure to most, the resilience and cultural richness of the Qarsherskiyans endure. However, like many marginalized communities, the Qarsherskiyans also face unique challenges in the modern world, particularly as they navigate a society still grappling with issues of race, identity, and belonging. In the present day, the Qarsherskiyan community remains relatively unknown to the broader public. However, there are increasing efforts to raise awareness about their history and culture. Various organizations, researchers, and community leaders have taken upon themselves to document and share the legacy of the Qarsherskiyans. These efforts are critical for ensuring that future generations understand the importance of this unique group and its contributions to American society. Despite these efforts, the Qarsherskiyan community still faces significant challenges, particularly when it comes to questions of racial identity. The complex mixture of African, Native American, European, and possibly other ancestries means that many Qarsherskiyans do not fit neatly into traditional racial categories. This lack of clear racial identity often leads to confusion, misunderstanding, and even social isolation. Many members of the community report feeling disconnected from the broader African American, Native American, and white populations, struggling to find a sense of belonging in a society that places heavy emphasis on racial categorization. Moreover, the historical erasure of the Qarsherskiyan people from mainstream narratives has led to a lack of recognition of their struggles and contributions. Their unique cultural heritage is often overlooked or misunderstood, which makes it harder for community to fully integrate into the broader American historical narrative. In response, modern-day Qarsherskiyans are working to reclaim their history and assert their presence in the broader social fabric. By embracing their multifaceted heritage, they continue to build a sense of pride in their identity. This movement towards self-empowerment is critical not only for the future of the Qarsherskiyan community, but also for preserving the invaluable cultural contributions that they offer to the world. In the next segment, we will explore the role of storytelling and oral traditions in preserving the Qarsherskiyan heritage, focusing on how these methods have been used to pass down cultural knowledge and maintain a strong sense of identity. In every community, storytelling serves as a vital tool for preserving history, passing down knowledge, and strengthening bonds between generations. For the Qarsherskiyan community, oral traditions have been the cornerstone of cultural preservation, allowing their unique history to survive despite centuries of external pressures to erase or assimilate them. The art of storytelling in the Qarsherskiyan community is a blend of Native American, African, Romani, and European influences, creating a rich tapestry of narratives that recount the experiences of their ancestors. These stories are more than just accounts of the past. They are tools for teaching younger generations about their roots, values, and the resilience that has allowed the community to survive and thrive. For example, many Qarsherskiyan elders recount stories of survival from the time of slavery, when their ancestors resisted forced assimilation and fought for their right to live freely. These narratives often serve as lessons about resilience, solidarity, and the importance of community, echoing themes found in African storytelling traditions. Similarly, Native American storytelling traditions, with their emphasis on the spiritual connection between people and nature, have played a significant role in grounding the Qarsherskiyan community in its environmental and cultural heritage. Moreover, storytelling serves as a means of preserving language. Languages often carry deep cultural meanings that go beyond their words. For the Qarsherskiyans, the oral transmission of their language ensures that their cultural practices are maintained and not loss of time. In the following segment, we will look at the ongoing efforts to document and preserve the Qarsherskiyan heritage for future generations, ensuring that their story is not forgotten. As the world rapidly changes, the need to preserve the unique history of the Qarsherskiyan community has never been more urgent. In the face of modern-day challenges, including the dilution of their cultural practices and the rise of digital media, various efforts are underway to ensure that the story of the Qarsherskiyans is passed on to future generations. One of the most important initiatives is the creation of community-driven projects aimed at documenting the Qarsherskiyan history, culture, and traditions. These efforts are largely driven by individuals and families within the community who have taken on the responsibility of recording the stories and experiences of their elders. Oral history projects, local museums, and digital archives are emerging as essential tools for preserving their legacy. Additionally, the younger generation of Qarsherskiyans is playing an active role in ensuring that their heritage is not lost. Through social media platforms and online communities, they are sharing stories, connected with other members of the diaspora, and raising awareness about their rich cultural legacy. These digital initiatives are allowing the Qarsherskiyan community to stay connected and to combat the historical erasure of their people. In the end, the future of the Qarsherskiyan people will depend on their ability to preserve their cultural heritage and pass it on to the next generation. By embracing their mixed heritage and celebrating their diverse roots, they can continue to thrive as a unique and vital part of the American story. Want to learn more about America's hidden histories? Hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to ring the bell to stay updated on all of our latest deep dives into mysterious stories. Join the journey to uncover secrets that have been long forgotten